Hello and welcome to Free Advice Friday. My name is Keri Barnum. I am here for New Shelves Books and Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday where we get together to talk about book marketing, publishing, and anything having to do with the business of being an author. We are here at newshelves.com/FAF live every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. You are welcome to join us, or if the timing is not convenient for you, you can always email questions into info@newshelves.com, and we will answer those questions live, and replays of these videos do go up on our YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to simply going to youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. Without further ado, we'll jump into the questions that we're getting today. The first one is from Elaine asking about advice on uploading to IngramSpark. So recently I did a video that actually walks you through step-by-step uploading a book to IngramSpark. It walks you through the process and then shows you how to make it live. And we've got tips and a IngramSpark checklist and all sorts of good stuff. So if you go to YouTube and you search IngramSpark on the New Shelves channel, you will find it. For anyone who's joining us live, I will drop that link right in our chat. And if you want that IngramSpark checklist of things you should have available before you start your upload, so the process goes more smoothly, you can simply go to newshelves.com/IS for IngramSpark checklist, and that will bring you to a checklist download for IngramSpark. So hopefully that's helpful. All right. I have a question about submitting my book PDF file to Amazon. Awesome, Sarah. If you have a question about uploading or submitting your book to Amazon through KDP, just let me know what it is and I will do my best to answer it. The more specific you can be, the better I can give an answer. All right. Let's see, Jane. We are a small independent press that specializes in books for children under 6 years old. We have some board books written by SLPs that we think would do well in hospitals, pediatricians' offices, and therapy clinics. We'd like to partner with a medical distributor, but are having difficulty finding one. Do you have any suggestions about where we can look to find one of a recommended medical distributor who would be appropriate for our needs? That is some interesting out-of-the-box thinking. I don't actually, because I'm not in medical distribution. I think that if you're looking for a medical distribution partner, you would want to go to someone in the industry. I think that's someone that hospitals or doctors or office staff at a doctor's office would probably have better contacts with. However, medical distributors, I'm not sure would do books. I actually don't have experience there. So I'm not sure that that would actually be the spot. I will say that a lot of hospitals and things like that, you can go through the gift shops, and gift shops will have a lot of book content that relates to the patients. So you may try that. One of the largest gift distributors is Lori's Gifts. And if you go, just do a Google search, Lori's Gifts vendor submission, and they actually have a whole spot for books, and you can submit your books to Lori's Gifts. So that might be an option. And then as far as working individually, I think just reaching out to doctors and hospitals and people, if these have already been written by people in the medical community, asking and leveraging those relationships to get more information. And I would do that. Lori's Gifts is LORI'(S) Gifts, GIFTS. Yeah, I mean, bulk marketing, the thing with any bulk marketing though, is that you have to know that industry. So bulk marketing to certain groups, absolutely. But if you're looking for a medical distributor, that I believe is going to be a little bit different. So, but that's certainly a resource that you can check into that. And I think I love the out of the box thinking. I think sometimes when you go where no one's gone before, sometimes it doesn't work, but you find new ideas. And I think being creative with that and finding different ways to reach out to that community rather than just bookstores or retail stores can be a really great way to make those connections. Say I have a company soliciting me for bulk reviews. I would have to pay a minimum of $25 at $9 each, which is a chunk of change, but I could specify Amazon Goodreads, which is where I need them. Less organic, but gets the job done. Would you recommend doing this? In most cases, I don't recommend doing this, and let me tell you why. No one can guarantee that you will get Amazon reviews without breaking the terms of Amazon's service. So someone can say, we will send out your book for review, but no one can guarantee that you will get reviews, because the only way that I can guarantee you'll get reviews is if I'm willing to pay the person or demand that they leave a review, and that is explicitly against Amazon's terms of service. Rather, you want to find someone who will be working more specifically in paying them is fine, but paying them to reach reviewers. Places like Hidden Gems do this, Book Sirens, where they're not promising reviews, but they are promising to get your book in front of reviewers and ask them for reviews. So any company that is asking you to pay and they're promising reviews is a very slippery slope. Sometimes their reviewers are already being flagged. Also keep in mind, if these people just review everything, a lot of these review companies will have reviewers that aren't book reviewers. They review everything, anything, because they're getting paid for it, or they're getting some type of goods or services in return. And so a lot of times it will mess up your also bots and your organic algorithm, because this person may be buying a cookbook today, a horror novel tomorrow, and a children's book the next day, and reviewing it. And Amazon tracks those algorithms, and it can really mess up your algorithm. So I personally would avoid that option. There are better ways to get reviews that will not get you in trouble with Amazon. So my book is complete in a PDF file and I have a link, but that's all I have, and no idea how to submit it to Amazon. So if you're trying to self-publish your book and you would like to use KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, which is Amazon's self-publishing arm or indie publishing arm, then you would need to open up a KDP account. It is connected to your Amazon account. And then you upload a new book. It does kind of follow through the process. I don't yet have a video of how to upload to KDP, but Virginia has just recently volunteered her book. So we will have a video on how to upload a book to KDP soon. But basically, you're going to need your interior PDF as well as your cover PDF file, and you upload the book to KDP for Amazon if you're trying to do print on demand through Amazon. So KDP, if you go to their site, does have a lot of options, but simply getting your KDP account, a lot of it will be kind of self-explanatory that way. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on making a book returnable through Ingram? So KDP is not an option because you can't set returnable options for wholesale. KDP, if you're doing expanded distribution, automatically put your book as non-returnable, and they give retailers a 25% discount if you're getting your book into the Ingram catalog through expanded distribution through KDP. So that's just not a choice. It's what KDP does. If you are uploading your own book to IngramSpark for wholesale distribution through Ingram, which is what I recommend, then that process is a little bit different, because if you want retailers to consider your book, bookstores, gift shops, things like that, in most cases, they require that a book be returnable. So if you want the best shot of sales, then you would set your book as returnable. But that also means you've got to get a 55% discount on the IngramSpark side so that the retailer gets the 40% discount. And we've talked about POD math before, so I won't go into the specifics of it, but that is definitely something you have to consider. So if your book is not going to be discounted, let's say you know you're not going to set a 55% discount, all you're going to offer is a 35 or a 40% discount, then we know that retail stores are not likely to carry your book, which is fine as long as you know that. And then in that case, as far as setting it returnable, there's really no need, because if you're not marketing to retail outlets, Libraries aren't going to return it. Other places typically aren't, and they don't care about that returnability so much. So you can set non-returnable and a lower discount, just knowing you won't be able to reach retail stores. You're not going to be getting into gift shops or bookstores. Or if you really want to make it into the retail market, you need a full trade discount, which means setting your book to a 55% discount in IngramSpark, and your book needs to be returnable. So it's really up to you. Bookstores don't want to return your books. I think that's something important to say, is that bookstores don't make money on return books. It is an insurance policy. They want to stock books that will sell, and they want to sell those books because that's how they make a profit. Typically, if the book's not selling, they may actually put it on discount before they return it, because again, a little bit of profit is better than no profit, but it really just depends. And I do think it's, again, important to know that it's more of an insurance policy for them. They're not like, oh yeah, we're going to return all the books. No, in fact, a lot of indie bookstores, when they know they're buying from indie press, will order more conservatively because they're trying to avoid returns. But you've got to kind of look at your own goals. Is retail important to you? Are you marketing to retail stores? I tell people this all the time. Stop marketing to retail stores if your books are not set up for retail sales. You're wasting your time, your resources, and your energy. They're not going to buy a book that's at 25% discount. They're simply not, because there's no profit in it for them. So if you intend to market to retail stores, yeah, it's got to be returnable. It's got to have that full trade discount. But if you're not going to market to retail stores, then it's completely up to you. There's really no big need for returnability. All right. Would book Sirens be a good idea for a nonfiction book that's been out for a year? Here's the thing. I think Book Sirens is a great opportunity and it can help, but I will say that I've noticed that books get better responses when they are newer. That doesn't mean they get no responses, but they get better responses when they're newer. And honestly, be honest, you guys, it's easier to get reader reviews for a fiction book. There are just a lot of fiction readers. Nonfiction tends to be a little bit more niche and it can be a little bit harder. So I think Book Sirens is a pretty low cost option. I think it's a possibility, but your best chances are within the first year with a fiction title. It's not to say don't do it with nonfiction. Just make sure that you've got your expectations aligned for just what the market is. Let's see. Lately I was thinking about going back to my name and not using my pen name since I've had very minimal sales and am an unknown. I think I may be fine, though the book I'm finishing now is the third in a series. So if your book's a third in a series, I wouldn't recommend going back and forth between pen names because that's going to mess with your series. It's not going to be through the same name. Now, if you have been using a pen name and you'd like to write under your own name and you don't have much of a platform under that pen name, sure, why not? But I would do that with a new series or a standalone. I would not do it mid-series. That is going to be very hard to market and will confuse things quite a bit. If an author discounts for the Smashwords 2023 Read an eBook Week promotion, which is March 5th through March 11th, would this require offering the same discount on all other ebook platforms? So no, many of you probably have gotten an email from Smashwords. So as we know, Draft to Digital acquired Smashwords last year. And so if you are distributing your book with either Smashwords or Draft to Digital, you've probably gotten an email in the last week or so talking about an eBook Week promotion. It's a Read an eBook Week. And it's from March 5th to March 11th, where they're essentially asking if you would be interested in allowing them to offer your book at a discount. I've gotten lots of emails about this asking, is it worth it? Is it okay? Absolutely okay. It's essentially where you can market your book down and then someone else is going to do the marketing for you. I see it as kind of a low risk, probably lower reward, but you never know. If you're willing to sell your ebook at a discount for a week and essentially let Smashwords and Draft to Digital promote it, this is typically going to be your sales outside of Amazon. So you have two choices. You can either drop that discount down and just promote it as a discount through those places. Hey, iBooks has got it, Kobo's got it at a discount for this week only. Or you can drop your price down on Amazon as well and do a full-scale promotion, tack on to what Smashwords is doing and actually put it into Bargain Booksy and Fussy Librarian and do other discounts or run a Facebook ad for your discount. So it's completely up to you. I think if you want to know how effective the Smashwords sale is, to know if you would like to participate in those in the future, then you probably just want to let Smashwords do its thing. Allow them to discount your book and just watch and see if you see any sales just from their promotion or not. I think that's probably what I would do if it's the first time, kind of as a tester. But if you're looking to do a big ebook discount, maybe this is the right time. That would totally be up to you and how recently you've done an ebook discount on your end. All right, I'm going to hop over to an emailed question. And this one's a little bit tricky. So the question from Paula is, I'm about to publish a memoir about surviving my husband's alcoholism and have a few legal questions. Here's the thing, Paula, I'm not a lawyer. So unfortunately, I cannot answer legal questions. However, I'm going to share your questions and then kind of give a little bit of insight of what I do know. Again, this is not legal advice. If you have legal questions, you need to consult a lawyer. If you are part of IBPA, Ally, Authors Guild, any of those, many of them do have resources on hand for legal advice or for legal recommendations for lawyers, and I would reach out to them. But the questions that you have essentially surround the idea of, do you need a waiver? Do I need to contract everyone I mention in the book and get a waiver that it's okay to use their name, even if it's just their first name? So again, I'm not a lawyer. It's not legal advice, but that never hurts. If you have concerns, it's always better to go and ask for a waiver than not to have it, right? It's always better to have a safety net than not. So again, not legal advice, but if it were my book, I would absolutely do that. And if you have some fears about slander or anything like that, I have heard of a lot of people who write memoirs who will go under a pen name for this very reason, to avoid actively marketing to their direct audience who may know the people in the book. But again, if you have concerns, if you're writing a memoir and you do have concerns about people being listed in the book or slander, anything along those lines, because that can also vary state to state about where you live and where that person lives and what the laws are, I strongly recommend that you go get legal advice and that you talk to someone there, because that is something that can certainly cost you. I was just reading one of the author groups I'm in that someone was sued for this kind of thing. They were in California, I believe, and they lost the case. So definitely get some legal advice on that. And that's something everyone, when writing nonfiction or writing memoirs, if anything is questionable, waivers and get waivers and get a lawyer's advice. You absolutely want to protect them. And yeah, you can't change their names, but the problem is, even if you change the name, but it's obvious who the person is. So if I say I'm writing a memoir about my husband, I'm going to change his name, but I'm still saying things that people would obviously know. It'd be fairly easy to look up his name with public records and things like that. You can still have some issues there. So when in doubt, ask a lawyer, get true legal advice. Author groups are fantastic. They can give you a lot of information, but unless that person is a lawyer, they don't truly know and they can't truly give you legal advice. So I would definitely recommend going that route. The next question we have, let's see, we already talked about the Smashwords question, which I'd gotten. The next question I have is about comp authors and how you can find the best comp authors for yourself and your book. So you know me, I'm a visual learner. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through 3 different ways that you can find comp authors for your book. So for those of you who are wondering what in the world is a comp author, a comp author or title is a book that is written that is either similar to yours or targets a similar audience to yours. And comp authors are people who have a similar audience to you. So for example, Nora Roberts and Danielle Steele are comp authors. They have the same audience. Lee Child and James Patterson, they're comp authors. It is someone who's kind of got the same audience, the same vibe as you do. Now, sometimes it'll be a little bit weird. We'll say, well, sometimes your comp authors are, sometimes your comp authors are going to be people that you wouldn't necessarily think of, and that's okay. The whole idea is not to get too focused on someone who writes exactly like you. Rather, we want to focus on people who have the same audience as you, because if you're looking for a book that's exactly like yours, you may find it, but it may be 50 years old and have 2 sales. That's not a good comp. So what makes up a good comp is they've got an audience similar to yours. And then a good comp is also going to be currently selling or well known. So if you find a comp author and you're like, this is a ringer for me, it's the same type of book, same type of audience, and then you tell me that their book was written in 2002 and it's not like a crazy bestseller, that's not a good comp. Good comps are going to be current authors or titles that people are currently aware of, currently buying and searching. So that's really important to note. Now, you may have a comp that's a classic. Let's say Catcher in the Rye. Well, Catcher in the Rye is a classic. That immediately brings a, light bulb. So that is a good one. However, you can have a couple of classics, but you cannot have too many classics. You cannot have too many people or comps that are from a long time ago, because that tells me your writing is dated. Not cool. So you can sprinkle in some classics, but you really need to have a good number of comps that are currently selling. And when we talk about how many comp authors you should have, well, that kind of depends, because on your comp authors, the more you have, the more you have to draw from. I typically recommend you start with 10 great comps and you grow it from there. Ideally, you want to end up with 30 to 50 comps if possible. So when we're looking for comps, let's actually look at that. One of the best places to look is right on Bestseller List. These books are currently selling. So if you come to Amazon.com, you go to bestsellers and you click on this, and then you go down here to books, because of course that's what we're interested in. From books, you want to find your category. Are you writing in arts and photography? Are you writing in cookbooks? Are you writing in fiction? Whatever it may be. Let's say that for our purposes here, we're writing in literature and fiction. So I'm going to find the category. And then from here, you start looking at these books and you say, are these my audience? You start with the overall big list, literature and fiction. If you don't know who these people are, if you look at this and say remarkably bright creatures, I don't know what that is. I don't know who it is. Do yourself a favor. It's going to take some time. Click on it, read about the book, read a couple of the reviews. That's how you learn about the book. You don't have to read each of these books, although you're certainly welcome to. That would take a long time. But what you do need to do is you need to read the synopsis, and then you need to go through and you need to read some of the reviews down here, so you get an idea of what kind of book this is. This book is intensely emotional. It's on grief. It's about connection. It is quirky. This could be a great comp for somebody. Hint, hint, for the person who asked the question. But it may not be. So if it's not a good comp, you simply go back and you keep looking. You look through these bestseller lists. Now, I want you to note a couple of things. These are bestsellers because they're on the bestseller list, but we also want to look at how many ratings they had. Sometimes we know a book will end up on a bestseller list because it happened to be on an ebook promotion or something. And that, I don't want to take away from that. If you ever hit a bestseller list, way to go, that's awesome. But we want to look for books not only that are currently selling because of promotion, but books that are selling and selling regularly and are well known. So we do want to look and say, hey, does this book have reviews? Does it have at minimum, absolute minimum, at least 100 reviews? We want to make sure that the book is well known enough and searched enough that when we use it in our ads, when we use it for comps, that it's getting searched, because that's the whole idea, is we want to associate ourselves with this author, with their book, with keywords, so that our book is searched. And if we're finding obscure authors or well-known authors that books don't really sell anymore, the problem is no one's searching those books. No one's searching those authors. So what happens? When people search those keywords, they might find our book, but how many people are searching those keywords? Not many, and that's where you run into a problem. So that is one of the things you definitely want to think about. Now, when you look through, again, you'll kind of go through, and some will be like, oh yeah, that could definitely be it. Some will be very obvious. Like you may know, okay, it starts with us as a romance, and I know my book's not at all romance. It's not going to be a good tie-in or what have you. So you kind of have to do a little research. It's going to take time. It's a rabbit hole, but it's necessary. You also have the option of niching down a little bit. So you can be in literature and fiction and be like, okay, it's literature and fiction, but I know my book is women's fiction, or it's contemporary, or maybe it's satire. Don't know, but whatever it is, let's say it's women's fiction. We're going to click on here, and then we're going to look in this niche down category. We can niche down even more. Like I said, it's a rabbit trail, and there's so many different places you can go. It's going to take you some time and research, but it will help you know your book and your audience better. And it'll help you sell more books in the long run. This is worth doing. Now, let's say we find a book and we're like, all right, this book is a fantastic comp. Let's say it's Lessons in Chemistry. If I'm looking at this book and I'm saying this is a fantastic comp, I typically aim when using comps for things like marketing, not comps for querying an agent. When you're querying an agent, you want big name comps, lots of ratings and reviews. If you're looking for a comp for querying agents, at minimum, you want a book and an author that's got 5,000 reviews at minimum. But if we're talking about marketing, if we're talking about comps that we can use keywords from and things like that, we don't need that many. We simply need to know that they're currently selling and that it's a good comp. So keep that in mind. But when we find a good comp, we want to go and say, all right, this is a great comp. Then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come down to their category list, and all the way down, I'm going to see what categories this book is ranking in. And I'm going to see if I can be inspired. So I found this in literary fiction, in women's fiction, but then I'm going to look here and maybe I see mother and children's fiction. That is my book. It's got a lot of mother and children relationships. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to see that bestseller list. And I'm going to further go down this trail to see what my comps may be. When looking for comps for keywords and for marketing, I typically tend to look for 10 or 15 really big names. We're looking at, Jodi Picoult. We're looking at Barbara O'Neill. We're looking at the people with thousands of reviews, well known. But I'm also looking for books that are currently selling, that are selling well, that are like mine, but who aren't selling on this level. And the reason why is I want something that's selling so I can attach my name to theirs, and I want to emulate them and kind of rise up together. We're not stealing traffic. We are sharing traffic, by the way, which is readers read. They're not going to stop at one book. So we're going to share traffic. We want to share traffic with books that won't have as much competition as these books with thousands of reviews. I bet if we looked at Amazon ads, we would find Mad Honey in thousands and thousands of ads, which is great. If our book is truly a good fit, then that's a great option. However, we also want to make sure that we are finding some books that aren't as likely to be to have so much competition. We want to find some books that maybe aren't as much. So here's another trick for you. If you already have books published, let's say you have a series, something like that, make sure you're checking Amazon Author Central, which is a free author profile for any author who has a book live on Amazon. And you want to make sure that when you're doing this, go to your Author Central page, go down to the bottom here, and you will see customers also bought items by. If you have been selling books on Amazon and she have a good number of like book sales, then chances are you will have some information here. And these are your comps. Amazon has provided it for you. They are telling you, hey, these are the people who are buying the books when they buy yours, or whose accounts have bought this book and that book. And obviously, these are all really big name authors, probably because the author involved is a very big name and they're going off of lots of sales information. But we can find these for someone who's got 500 reviews. So for example, if I go to Road to the Breaking by Chris Bennett, this is a historical fiction series, and we will see here that Chris, his first book just broke 500 reviews. So this is what I'd call selling well, but not a household name. Sorry, Chris, you will be a household name. But if we go here, this is a book that's selling and selling well. And so if this was a good comp for me, I would go straight to Chris's Author Central, and I'm going to go down to the bottom and look there. These are people that are selling books that are great comps. And so if Chris's book is a great comp for me, chances are these are great comps for me as well. Or again, if you're already selling books, if you're already on Amazon, check your own comps and use them as inspiration. So that's one way to find comps. Another way is this tool right here. It's absolutely free. It's called Literature Map. Essentially, you can type in an author and it will map out other books they think are interesting or would interest you. So let's say I'm very much into, let's do James Patterson. I can type in James Patterson and it will create a map of books they think I would be interested in based on James Patterson's book and comps. So you can see what I've done is I took one of my comps, which would be James Patterson. I typed his name in and found all his comps. Patricia Cornwell, John Grisham, Dean Koontz, John Connolly, Tess Garrison, Tammy Hogue. I've suddenly found all of these comps. Now, will they all be perfect? No, but it gives me authors that I should then be looking into as possible strong comps. This computer software, this free website has just done a great deal of work for me. It gives me a list that I can then vet and see if their books or their audience is something my audience would be interested in. Similar vein, there's a website called What Should I Read Next? This is also free. So what should I read next? And here you can do the same thing where you can type in a title or something like that. So I could do It Starts With Us, which is a Colleen Hoover book. And it's going to ask me, whoops. All right. I'll play by the rules. Yes, it does. All right. So it's a little glitchy, probably my fault with us. Okay, actually, it didn't find it. So let's try Colleen Hoover. It ends with us. There we go. It's got the more popular one. All right. And yes, it's got ads, but those. So I can go in here and when I type in It Ends With Us, what it'll do is it will tell me other books that I might be interested in. So it starts with the book I typed in, and then down below here is a whole list of books I might be interested in. That's what these all are. These are Colleen Hoover's comps. And if Colleen Hoover is my comp, I have just like that, found a whole list of possible of possible comps. You can do this with fiction, nonfiction. Children's books are a little harder, but you can still do it. All sorts of things. So these are 3 ways that are completely free that can help you build your comp list. Hopefully that helps. I know it's kind of detailed. It's kind of something that takes work. I wish there was a magic button to where you could just be like, here are your comps, but that's not how it works. And even though there are marketing professionals like myself who can help you find your comps, unless they have read and are intimately aware of your book and your audience, I can't just name off comps. I can give you suggestions, but you will be the best person to vet those comps because you know your book best, or someone who's been working with you for a long time. So I have authors I've been working with since 2018, 2019. I know their books. I can offer comps really well. But if it's someone you've just met for the first time, or they've seen your book for the first time, they can give you a starting point. But know that you can do great work finding your own comps or building off of a list that they start you with. And these comps then are used if it's bigger names, it's pitching for querying agents. You can use comps. You can use comps in your marketing. If you like A Handmaid's Tale, you're going to love this book. If you are a fan of Nora Roberts and Danielle Steele, your next author should be. And those are going to be your great comps. Now with that, if you're doing ads specifically, you may also bring in pop culture comps. You can bring in TV shows, you can bring in movies, you can bring in different things like that, even podcasts sometimes. If you're nonfiction, podcasts can be really great comps. So you can go outside of that, but that was specifically for author comps. And I think it takes kind of a well-rounded look to get the best response and the best information for you, yourself, and your ads. And then what I like to do, I start with my comp author list. And then what I do is I take my comp author list and I take it over to Publisher Rocket, which is Publisher Rocket is the, what am I thinking? It is Dave Cheson's software that helps you find keywords. I use the Amazon keyword search tool, and I use that so that you can then research those comp author names for your keywords, and it will spit out Amazon keywords that you can then use. That's how I build all of my keyword lists, is I start with comp authors. So there are lots of ways that you can use it. There are lots of ways that your comp authors will help you. It will help you understand your audience more. For that matter, if you know you've got some really great comps and you're like, I don't know who my avatar is, who am I selling to? If you can find your comp authors, from there, what you can do is you can take your comp authors and go look at the people, go do searches, who's reviewing it, go to Goodreads, look at these authors and look at the people reviewing the book. Go look at the reviewers' profiles. Are they middle-aged? Are they young? Are they male? Are they female? Are they non-binary? And this will help you to profile your audience so that when you are marketing, what I would market to a 50-year-old woman who loves cats is not the same I would market to a 20-something city dweller who is very trendy. They're just different audiences. They're different. And so that is definitely one of the things that you want to consider. And that's a way that comps can help you in that way. So again, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's helpful work. So let me see. Yes and no, I do not think it's necessary to read every book that you think might be a potential comp. What you may want to do is use Amazon's look inside feature, read a page or two, see. But that's why I said, read the blurb, read a couple of reviews. If you feel like it, read a couple of the pages inside. They don't have to be an exact match. They have to be overall themed. If you have, very dark themed books, well, then you need to find dark themed authors. You don't want to find the rainbows and the bunnies. That's probably not your audience. So you don't need to read all of your comps though. Yes, have your favorite beverage, coffee, tea, wine, whatever does it for you, and tuck in. It'll probably take you a little while. It's actually really interesting though. I think comp research can be a lot of fun. All right. Yeah, and so a question's coming up. There's only 7 keywords allowed on KDP. What do you do with all of these other keywords? Well, yes, there's 7 keyword phrases. I believe it's 50 characters you're allowed to put in the metadata for KDP. But all of those other keywords you're using typically for things like Amazon ads and targeting, or even Facebook ads. And when using KDP keywords, the 7 metadata keywords are allowed to put in the back end, which we'll talk about more. I promise I'm going to do a KDP upload, and I'll record that, talk more about that soon. But those 7 keyword phrases actually can no longer contain titles or authors' names. They used to be able to use authors in those, and you can't anymore. So the keyword phrases would be more like search phrases, like nighttime books for kids afraid of the dark might be a keyword phrase, but we can no longer use Dr. Seuss, whatever. That's not allowed. So just a little bit different. But for ads, we absolutely can use comp authors and titles. All right. Make sure I answered all the questions there. Oh, you guys in your chat, you're hilarious. Let's see about the keywords. And if you do need links to any of this stuff, you have further questions, let me know. We've got a lot of resources, and I'm always happy to share those when I can. All right. Yeah, no, these authors' keywords are not listed online. They're in their pages, they're in the back end, but no, their keywords aren't just listed online. Oh man, I'm in a member of a writing group. Is someone self-publishing her first book, and she's still waiting for the copyright. How long does that usually take? And this is a copyright question I've gotten recently as well. When filing for copyright, there are a couple things that are important to know. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm telling you as I understand it. If you have legal advice, please go find a lawyer. Important thing to know is that in the US, as soon as you write something and you put it out publicly, it is copyrighted under your name. Technically, it's been copyrighted. You do that little copyright sign and you put your name next to it with the year, and that's added protection. It's copyrighted. However, if you do not file for copyright, you are not, if you don't file for copyright, if you ever need to pursue a case against copyright infringement, you don't have as many rights and you can't get as much in a lawsuit if you don't file your copyright with the Copyright Office. So it is recommended that you file with the Copyright Office within 3 months of publication. Now, no, when you file that copyright, it can take a year to come back to you. Sometimes it takes longer. It can take a long time. The important part is that when you file the copyright. So make sure you're filing within 3 months of publication. If possible, but anytime, you can always send in your copyright, but 3 months within publication is prime. And then you don't have to wait for the copyright to come back in order to publish. You just need to file it. And as I said, sometimes that can take a year or more. All right. So we have a question here about how you get on a bestseller list. And so bestseller lists now are a little bit different than they were even last year, because we no longer have the USA Today bestseller list, which is still on hiatus for an undetermined amount of time. We're not sure if it'll ever come back. So that essentially leaves for bestsellers. There are some newspapers like the Washington Journal has bestsellers and certain things like that, but the most well-known ones are going to be Amazon bestseller lists, Barnes and Noble bestseller lists, and then of course the New York Times. And as far as bestsellers list go, there are different requirements for each of them, different amount of sales. Some of them are like specific categories. So you can get on a bestseller list for Amazon in romance, but not be a bestseller overall on Amazon. So there are different types of bestsellers. I have a whole article on bestseller list, as well as 3 tips for getting on a bestseller list. So I will drop that right into the chat box. And you can go visit that blog article for anyone watching the replay. If you simply go to newshelves.com, you go to our blog, search bestseller, you will find it. So let me just tell you that hitting an Amazon bestseller does not mean you're going to sell 1 million books. I know people who've gotten on a bestseller list on Amazon with 3 books sold. With that said, it does feel pretty cool. It's validating. Yay, you made it to a bestseller. The important thing to realize is just that it is one step. It's a milestone. You should absolutely be proud if you hit bestseller in a category, but no, that doesn't mean you stop marketing or your book suddenly starts selling itself. You still have to continue to market and sell your book. Now, being on a bestseller list overall or in category on Amazon can help the algorithms recognize your book, start showing it to more readers, and give you more chances of sales. So there are benefits, but it is not the be all end all. I have a lot of books who have done really well, lots of sales, lots of reviews, who've never even hit a category list, but they sell regularly and they are popular with readers. So pros and cons, I wouldn't say there's a con to a bestseller list. I just think it's important to know that it's not hitting a list or not on Amazon does not mean your book's good or not. There are a lot of people who've made it onto a bestseller list and then never sell another book because they did some big push. They put their book in some obscure category and they hit a bestseller list, and it doesn't mean anything then. Hitting a bestseller list when it's in your true category and you've worked hard for it, and you've got reviews and people are really loving your book, that's something that means a little bit more probably to the author as well as in general in your sales and marketing. So I think that's something to kind of think about. Let's see. Story Rocket. I had not heard. I'm going to make a note, Caroline. I don't have enough information about Story Rocket to share on it, but I'm going to write it down so I can research it, and then I'll let you know next time. All right. If we have any last minute questions, let me know, and I will be happy to do that. And then I'm told by our audience here that I've got some manuscripts to read. I am in the middle of 3 manuscripts right now, by the way, and I'm loving all of them. So that's been fun. All right, you guys. I think we've gotten to the end of our questions. We answered our email questions. If I missed your question, come back next week. Drop in a line. You can also email questions into info@newshelves.com. We'll answer those online. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go subscribe. That way you'll get the replays, and it also helps other authors find our show. And thank you for being here. It's been wonderful. We'll see you next Friday, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern.